So I just finished filming a reaction to Zepla's content where she talked about what Final Fantasy XIV did unique. And I don't know what order these will go live in, but I think that she had some trailers playing as her B-roll on the side, kind of like how Bellular does. And I realized that, you know, when we watched Asmongold react to the trailer, when we watch all these different 14 content creators react to a trailer, even if I go show a Shadowlands trailer to Brian, he's not going to have the same reaction. And so a lot of that is like you don't necessarily know what you're looking at. And so for World of Warcraft players, I wanted to kind of go through the trailer a little bit and just kind of translate for you. Now this is going to have to be spoilery because I'm going to tell you who people are. I'm going to tell you where places are. I am not a lore expert in this game by any means, but obviously if you're brand new to the game and you just want to know what you're looking at and you're okay with the fact that I am about to spoil, let me just talk about kind of who this is, what we're looking at, and I'll try to put some of it in WoW terms so you guys can get kind of a feel for it. Creative Business Unit 3 is Yoshi P's team. They're also working on Final Fantasy 16. We already knew we were going to the moon this expansion. Going into this trailer. That is going to be one of the places we are headed. In 1.0, the first moon, Dalamud, was brought down as a calamity to destroy 1.0. 1.0 players actually got to play the destruction of that MMO. The game went offline and relaunched as 2.0. I encouraged you to go look at the No Clip documentary on that process if you want to know more about why 2.0 is such a rare thing where you can take a game that has failed and relaunch it and have success, which is a very rare moment. This is us. This is our character, the Warrior of Light. You will get to go through a character creation process and get to choose what yours looks like. But in all of the trailers, this is us. This is what we look like. Our character has aged. If you compare over the different expansions, they appear in different jobs. And what's really exciting is sometimes mid-trailers, they'll be changing jobs, which of course is representative of the fact that we can be all the jobs in the game. And that's always a very exciting moment. It gets a big cheer out of the crowd when these are shown for the first time live. This is the map of the in-game game. We have not gotten to go everywhere. So up north here, actually in Garlemald, this will be the first time we've gotten to go there. And so we only have access to like All Amigo and Ishgard and some of the, Gridania. Limsa Laminsa is actually down below. It's like right where my face is. And so we haven't gotten to go to all of these places. As we go further and further into this map, it's a great chance to explore. Shadowbringers actually takes place on a different realm, so it is not on this map because Shadowbringers takes place on the first. There are different realms because the world was sundered into 14 pieces, and so we got to play this expansion on a different one of the shards.
The final days were upon us. The fabric of the star had begun to fray, its land rent by tooth and claw.
That is Alice, playing as a red mage, which is one of our ranged casters. There's our Warrior of Light playing as a paladin. Paladins in this game are exclusively tanks. That is an attack of our new healer class called the Sage.
Alize!
That is her brother, Alphino. Alphino is going to be our Sage. This is actually the reveal of Sage, and we didn't yet recognize the first time this was shown what this is. This will be a class starting in Endwalker, which will start at level 70. So once you're in Endwalker content, if you want to go back and get this, once you have Endwalker, you can actually start your healer class. We will also be getting a new melee class called the Reaper. So those are our 2 jobs this expansion. We also got Gunbreaker, a tank, and Dancer, a ranged physical. Kind of, competes in the same class as things like a Hunter would. And those were in Stormblood. And then in Heaven's Word, we got Dark Knight and Astrologian. So a healer and a tank. That sounds right. That sounds right. Stormblood, we got Red Mage and Samurai. Yeah, there we go. Shadowbringers, we got Dancer and Gunbreaker. Stormblood, we got Samurai and Red Mage, both DPS, a melee and a ranged. Heaven's Word, we got Dark Knight and Astrologian. And obviously ARR was when we brought everybody over from 1.0, so we had plenty of new jobs.
All right. I can look after myself, you know. And I've had enough of this rubble. Come on!
We're about to spoil a whole lot, by the way, because I'm going to tell you everything you're seeing. So, just be aware. This is all tied to our story.
The star seemed doomed to unravel, and yet...
This is a dragon. We thought this was a big dragon from a previous expansion, but on a closer look, it doesn't appear to be the case. And this is Estinian. Estinian is a Dragoon. That starts as Lancer, is one of your starting jobs. That's a melee DPS. And Estinian is actually going to be the new NPC that can join us as what we call a Trust, which in World of Warcraft, if you've ever played through the new starting zone, at the end of the new starting zone in a dungeon, the first dungeon you ever touch as a new player in World of Warcraft now, for any of you that have created alts and gone through that process, Isle of Conquest, is that right? No, that doesn't sound right. I don't know. But you go through the new thing, and... you actually go into a dungeon at the end and it instantly pops, and if there's not another player available, it just backfills everything. We actually have that starting in Shadowbringers. They're called Trusts. You get to run with NPCs. They have dialogue with each other. It's an interesting way to get some behind-the-scenes lore, and Estinian will be joining us as our new companion available in the Trust system in Endwalker.
The hour is come, retry. It's all or nothing.
Dragons have a lot of deep lore in this game, well beyond my knowledge. This is Fandaniel. He's a villain first established in Stormblood, and without spoiling too much, he's been brought back towards the end of Shadowbringers, and we have been building up a conflict with him.
Will our heroes deign to play their part? You took your time.
This is Thancred on the right and Estinian on the left. They are, not Estinian, Urianger on the left. They're two companions that we regularly quest with. You'll actually first, I think you meet Thancred very early on in A Realm Reborn.
'Tis as we feared. The respite afforded this land was but fleeting.
He always talks weird.
The end draweth nigh.
That zone that was being shown there and is being comically shown here is actually Thavnair, which is one of the new zones we'll be going to, as well as the moon. This is another one of the new zones. This is called Old Sharlayan. The Sharlayans are somebody that we've had a distant relationship with over the course of the story, and this is our first chance to kind of more directly interact with them. In the patches leading up to this, coming out of Shadowbringers, will be the first time you start to really get some feelings for why we would be going there. That's an Aetheryte. You're going to run into those very early on. This is just a new appearance to one. Those are what you attune to teleport. They're kind of like your flight masters, but you just teleport to and from them, more like the waypoint system in Guild Wars 2. That's Graha. We first meet him in the Crystal Tower storyline, which new players are now forced to do. It was originally an optional storyline, but has significance for why Shadowbringers make sense as story. So it's an important face to remember.
This star still has secrets to tell. Take care, my friend.
These are the Charlans.
Charlian would keep its counsel while the world is lost to ruin.
It would.
There's some significance to who this guy is. Yeah, we're in spoiler territory. Screw it. That's Alphino and Alice's dad. We never really knew what he looked like, and that's kind of a big deal. And actually, that was not revealed to us until after this trailer had gone live. We just assumed it was a random Elezen, which is like our elves.
What may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight until the heavens fall.
This is Yustola. She's our resident black mage, one of our ranged casters. Pretty significant in lore. You'll meet her very, very early on as well.
Until our last breath.
Always a big deal to see whether or not she appears in the trailer. Xenos here showing a Scythe is a big deal. Scythe is our new melee class called Reaper. So that's kind of the confirmation of that. There'd been a lot of speculation about what that weapon was. As a matter of fact, people had data mined the previous scene when it had been showing on the other side, and the game files actually showed that on the other side of the chair there was not a weapon there. They left it blank so that it could not be data mined. I kind of wish there'd been a lot of speculation that he would have like a hammer. That I wish they'd put a hammer in the data mining just to screw with us. There's a lot of cool monsters to kill. And Paladins are only sword and board tanks, so pretty cool to see a tank get there. The tank that was on the front of the Shadowlands coverage was the Dark Knight, but I personally feel the story, or Shadowbringers, but I personally feel the story of Shadowbringers was best viewed as a warrior. I'm a warrior main, so of course I feel that way. I hear some Astros feel that maybe it was written for them. And some Gunbreakers maybe thinking they had a part in this. And so I assume each and every person feels important and attached to the story in their own way. But this leaves a lot to be questions, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of what you're looking at and why people were so hyped. That's a cast of characters that we know and care about, being shown in places that we know we're going, using classes that of course we get to play. And so much in the same way that a Shadowlands trailer would show us characters we care about, going to places we're interested in, doing things that we've known we wanted to do, fighting in events that we knew were going to take place or had taken place. It is very, very exciting and can be very meaningful, but without context, it's just a bunch of shiny images put out by a really, really cool rendering team. And so I just wanted to kind of offer some translation to that for you World of Warcraft players that feel like, you know what? Spoiler, screw it. I don't care about spoilers. I just want to know what's going on as I blast through this story, so that I'm prepared for Endwalker. Hopefully that they gave some context. There's still a lot to be learned there. So keep going through your story. I'm not going to help you, Siri. You're going to have to just clear it yourself. But if you want somebody like Noble87 to catch you up, Ethis Asher is your guy, has plenty of video content. There are many others. That's just where I like to start people lore-wise. So if you feel you have another question or you want even more lore or yet yet another voice come back on by, and I'm happy to tell you some other content creators, and we'll get you where you need to be. So thank you for joining us, World of Warcraft players. Thank you for coming in. To anybody, Guild Wars players, anybody coming to join Final Fantasy XIV as we build towards what will have the finale story for the last 10 years, and then start a new story with 6.1 to keep Final Fantasy moving forward. Because the game is not ending. The story is just hitting a wrap-up point for a pause to go into something new. It's a very exciting time to be getting into the game. And I encourage you to take all of the time you can in the next 5 to 6 months and hit it hard, because this is a really exciting time to be as caught up as you can be going into what will likely be one of the most epic stories that Final Fantasy XIV can tell, because it would take another 10 years to have this much built up. So wasn't really anything that taught you specific lore, wasn't really anything that taught you specific about the game, but it was about gaming, kinda. Fall 2021. November 19th is early access. November 23rd is the official launch date.